Welcome, everybody, to the SideQuest, your favorite video game podcast. We are on SideQuesting.com. I never know how to start these podcasts off, and I always screw it up, and I always say I never know how to start these podcasts off. So, whatever. I'm Dolly Domovsky. I'm joined, as usual, by my compadre, the El Capitan, Aaron Hot Take, Bad Hot Take, Worst Take, Kelly.
Bubsy.
Aaron Bubsy is the greatest character to receive yet another game, Kelly.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I've never played a Bubsy game. I just know it pisses people off so much.
You know what? They're all bad. But Bubsy was a 2D character, and they tried to bring him into 3D, and that was horrible. But the latest Bubsy, which was just announced, excuse me, by Choice Provision. So they do the runner games. It's a free runner. So it's basically a free running version of it's a Bubsy version of the Bit Trip runner games, which are great games. So hey, that's fine with me. I'm okay.
I mean, I would play that.
Yeah, I might actually play my first Bubsy game since like '96 or whatever it was.
He is the greatest character mascot of all 7 console generations.
He might actually. You're right. Yep. He has lasted through like every single one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just take that, Spyro.
Fuck you, Sonic.
Fuck you, Sonic. Sonic cried today because he was incinerated.
What was up with that trailer?
Holy shit! And for those who don't know, we're referencing the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, the adventure mode trailer, which is World of Light, I think is the adventure mode. But holy shit, it's straight up. I can go ahead and swear because this is a swearing-free podcast, not a swearing-free podcast. They Avengers Infinity Ward it. They like killed everybody off. We thought just like Luigi dying and becoming a ghost was gonna be rough, but man, they just took the axe to everybody.
Everybody but Kirby.
That's true. Kirby is our Captain Marvel. Comes in at the last second. It's like, hey guys, remember me?
That was maybe my favorite tweet that I've ever seen on Twitter.
What was that?
It was I retweeted it earlier, but here I'll post it. I'll post it in the Google Hangouts chat, and we can reenact it live on the SideQuest.
Okay, so
you want me to be the dev team? You can be Sakurai.
Okay, I'll be Sakurai. Okay, kill them all.
All of them?
Kill.
Not Kirby though.
Not Kirby. Oh goodness!
It was my favorite tweet I've ever because I saw that tweet maybe 10 seconds after seeing that trailer.
And you knew exactly what was happening.
I was like, this is amazing.
What's kind of amazing about that is so there was a lot. Are you going to talk about Smash Brothers in our news portion, or can I just chat about it right now?
You can just chat about it. I don't give a shit.
All right, sounds good.
I have no Smash Brothers news beyond that trailer, so go for it.
All right, good. So
we're doing news.
We're doing news. We're waiting for Sam to show up, Sam and Rexy to show up to talk Red Dead. So we're gonna kill some time. But the what was kind of interesting about that was that there was a Smash Brothers Direct today, and Sakurai comes on and he showcases new characters, 2 new characters. Ken. So about last week, I think this time there was a leak, a supposed leak that said Ken and Banjo-Kazooie, a bunch of these characters were coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Even some kind of strange characters like
Shadow the
Hedgehog, and the Rhythm Heaven characters and stuff. So everybody thought this was going to be it. They started off with Ken, and they're like, "Wow, this is really happening." That leak was totally real. Cool, let's do it. And then right after Ken, it was Infernaroar, or whatever that character's name was.
Some fucking Pokemon.
It was some Pokemon, and so
it is a Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I think it's an evolution of one of the Pokemon. So it was a freaking Pokemon character, and that was it. And Sakurai goes, "Well, that's it. That's all the characters we've announced, guys. That's all that's coming." They did reveal one more, which was the piranha plant, which I think is phenomenal to have the freaking potted piranha plant in there. But that's all. They're going to have 5 DLC characters. But he made a point throughout the episode, throughout the video, to say, we haven't figured out who these are. We haven't started working on them. So it's basically there's no longer a hashtag Team Real and hashtag Team Fake. It's completely fake. So I thought that was funny. And our good friends at Reset Era had a meltdown because they were completely.
Oh my God! Is that how it's pronounced?
Reset Era? Yeah, Reset Era. Yeah.
I've never heard it out loud before. I've only seen the URL, and I thought it was pronounced Resetera.
Resetera. I call it Resetera sometimes, but it's Reset Era because it was Neo Gap.
That makes so much sense. I feel like an idiot.
No, you're totally fine. You are an idiot, but you're totally fine.
I am an idiot.
Wait, I think I heard Rexley. Rexley, is that you? Can you hear us, Rexley?
Rexley, can you hear us?
We can hear you. Can you? Oh, no.
Mike's still not working. Oh, no.
Try plugging it in. No, I'm just kidding. Well, Rexley's trying to join us. You see his beautiful face down in the bottom of the screen there. You keep trying, Rexley. We'll keep talking. Yeah, so, yeah, it was a Reset Era. There you go. It's Reset Era. But, yeah, so they announced those 3 characters, and they're going to have 5 more, which they haven't figured out yet, and they haven't started working on. And that game's coming in December. And I actually wasn't hyped. I was hyped in the game. I was happy. I mean, there's too many freaking characters on there. But what really made me hyped for the game was that all the people who are so upset and had a meltdown that the fake, the supposed leak from last week wasn't real. I think that made my hype explode. So I'm now much more excited to play Smash Brothers because people's hearts were broken. Does that make sense? Does that make me a bad guy?
I'm sort of into it again. Remember a few weeks ago where I said I didn't give a shit about Smash Brothers? I'm kind of into it again.
All right. Good. We have Rexley still cranking over there trying to figure out what's wrong with Google Hangouts because we record through Google Hangouts. We are going to switch to Twitch.
That was that's in one of my news.
Yep. Switch to Twitch.
Pieces. The whole Twitch is introducing multi-user window stream thing, which I'm very curious to see how it's going to work and how they're going to deal with the delays, because as far as I've ever been able to tell on Twitch, delays aren't consistent between people.
Okay.
So, you know, if you and I were both streaming at the same time with the same bit rate, using the same program, with roughly the same internet, I might have a 15-second delay and you might have a 20-second delay to the viewer. So I'm very curious to see how they sync everything up so that, you know, the streamers themselves aren't talking over one another as delays overlap. But yeah, that looks real good.
Excellent. Hey, Sam, how's it going?
Hello, friends. Good. I'm here.
We finished Red Dead. We talked about it.
Talk about Red Dead. Talk about Smash Brothers.
The 2 people that haven't played Red Dead talked about Red Dead for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Rexley's trying to get on. As you know, as the internet is known, there can be issues. We did briefly talk about the Smash Brothers and how Team Real had their meltdown on Reset.
I knew that rumor was like quantifiably fake. There's no way that Gino was getting added to that game.
I love it. There is no way Gino's getting added to that game.
To be honest, there's a part of me that would believe that Gino was going to get added to Smash, but at the cost of a trade, right? Like there would be another Final Fantasy or another Square Enix character in there too, other than Gino.
Yep. Or another Pokemon.
The reason that I thought it was all vaguely believable is only because Shadow is in there. And while Shadow as a character on his own would have been nonsense, the fact that Sonic's been in it for 2 games now, it's like, all right, I can see some Sonic characters being in there. Yeah, well, Shadow would make sense. So.
They have that Echo
Sonic's
character
on there for
system too.
Is it 2 games or 3 games?
He's been there since Brawl, I believe.
Yeah, so 3 games. It's the 3rd game for Sonic, yeah.
I thought Brawl was the last. Well, I guess there was... Because there was the 3D...
For Wii U and Brawl, which is the Wii version.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess there was a 3DS version.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing as the Wii U version.
Mhm.
All right,
a couple of different
three
maps, but that was about it.
Anyway, so that was why I thought it was vaguely believable that all the other characters could be in it. But
when they announced Ken, I was like, oh man, maybe that is going to be accurate. Like maybe that's going to be true. And then they announced that Pokemon Infiniror, or however you say it. I don't know how you say his name.
Infiniror, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah. But as soon as they said that, I started laughing out loud. I was like,
Yeah.
nope. Like
I was cheering
killed
I
a
think, in
bunch
my
of dreams.
office. I was like cheering and clapping. I'm like, yes, we did it. We broke hearts.
When he made the statement of like, this will be all the characters available upon release, I was like, oh, so we're going to talk about DLC.
Yeah.
Aren't we? And man, that Piranha Plant, that's the coolest announcement.
Dude,
I think that whole thing held.
I can't wait. That's awesome. I've already pre-ordered the amiibo.
Yeah.
God, I wish I could find that tweet right now. Did you guys see that?
Which tweet?
It was. I can't find it, and it's killing me because I want to give him a shout out. But somebody tweeted back in February, I think it was like February 18th, where they had a dream that they were playing the new Smash Brothers, but all the characters were disabled, and the only thing you could pick was a Piranha Plant.
Oh,
and that the tweet is blown up since the announcement, but I can't find it.
I also love, man, that single player storyline. I hope it has great cutscenes like that in it too. That opening cutscene of everybody trying to run away. It's so funny.
Yes.
First of all, Kirby confirmed as the strongest character in Nintendo's lineup. And also, God, it's just Snake hiding in his box. Not even moving, just hiding in the box like, no, I got this. No one sees me. Also, an interesting thing is they showed off all those amiibos and mentioned that, every character would get an amiibo. Have they shown a Snake amiibo?
No, they. I thought they did. I thought they mentioned or showed the Snake amiibo.
Oh, I don't know. I know they mentioned that
they
everybody would be getting one, but like that's the one character that sticks out to me that I haven't seen an amiibo for yet.
Well, it's weird because Smash for the last few games has borrowed characters from other companies. So I could see an amiibo for every Nintendo character because that's fucking easy. But, Snake's Konami and, Konami sucks.
Well, sure, but like everybody else has gotten, like Mega Man has one, Cloud got one.
Yeah, but I mean, Square Enix and Capcom, like they're different companies, but they tend to play nice. Like Capcom, they've both done crossovers and stuff like that in various other games. So them teaming up with Nintendo for an amiibo, like that makes sense. But like fucking Konami's like notably clingy to their IP. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nintendo did say back like soon after E3 that all the veterans that are returning that don't have amiibo will get one. Like the Ice Climbers, Pichu, Snake, Wolf, Young Link, Pokemon Trainer. So I think it's coming. I'm curious what it'll look like because they haven't shown anything about it. But
yeah, I think that also brings a lot of bad press to Konami if they're the only ones that don't have an amiibo. Like if Snake's
I hope it's just a cardboard box. I hope it's just a
How amazing would that be?
Hey Rexley, we can hear you.
I know. It's finally the settings are all working and I had to restart the computer twice, but no, we're here. I'm here.
Have you been on our show like in the past? Maybe
way in the past. I remember the last time I was on this was I think we were watching like the Game Awards or something.
Oh god!
Oh man!
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, we'll actually do our annual Game Awards drink along.
Oh man!
This year, and usually, I mean, we end up. It seems like we end up with like 15 people in the chat, and it just goes haywire from the beginning for 3 hours.
You'll see me like at the cringeworthy points, just like my eye, like my like fingers in my eyes. I'm just like not looking and putting the volume to 1. I'm like, all right, someone tell me what's going on.
I will tell you right now. Last year's Game Awards, I remember having one single interesting conversation about some very in-depth thing with Katie. And then I was so drunk I can't remember anything else.
We had to take shots after they said like whatever a certain thing or world premiere.
World exclusive or world premiere. We drank every single time. I remember,
we were sloshed. Yeah. We were sloshed. We're totally gonna do that again. It's coming up here in a month, so
yeah. I wonder what unforeseeable, horrible, like social morality thing is going to happen at this Game Awards. As long as EA doesn't have another song about shooting people in the back with their hands up, I think we'll be fine.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that. Oh,
So here's a quick story. My mother remarried my stepfather. My stepfather's Italian, and his family make their own wine.
Oh, that's where Scratty Bones comes from, right? That's your Italian name.
That's my Italian name. Yep.
It's actually pronounced Scratty Bonus.
But his family is like straight over from Italy. They make their own wine every Boxing Day, which I guess if you don't have that in America, do you guys have Boxing Day?
In a weird way, they're starting to celebrate more and more.
So anyway, it's the day after Christmas. And his family, they do a big family get-together for Boxing Day. Because, people want to be with their own, immediate families on Christmas. But Boxing Day, it's a thing. We're talking like, on the low end, 30 to 35 very loud Italian people, all drunk out of their minds, having Christmas dinner, basically. They make their own wine, and it's the most potent, kerosene-tasting, half a glass will get you knocked on your ass stuff that you can imagine. I had 2.5 liters that I've been sitting on for years, and yesterday I finally cracked them open, and they both had gone bad.
Oh,
so my stepdad, I texted my stepdad. I was like, all the wine went bad, and this was at like 3 a.m. Immediately got a text back from him saying, "Give me 2 weeks, I'll get you another bottle." So I'm gonna have a bottle of this for the Game Awards.
For the Game Awards, oh man,
yes.
Oh,
yes.
This is just gonna be so good.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm waiting for another Joseph Ferris rant.
Oh God, that was
if
great.
not him, someone else.
Yep.
And it's just weird. Like I remember, like, was that the same year that he did his game, or was it the year before or the year after? I don't even remember the name anymore. The Brothers game.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay. I just remember like being in a preview with him, like during E3, and he was showing off that game, and it was like a really small room. It was him and like me, and then be like I think 4 or 5 other people, and he was just as loud, if not like. And I'm like, oh man! And I like as soon as I saw him rant, I immediately flashed back to that meeting, and I went, oh my god, I can't believe it.
Calm down.
Yeah, he's still on that hype train of his own thing. I don't know what it is, but it's so. I don't know what he's drinking, but I want some.
That was 5 years ago.
Was it that far? No.
Really? No.
Brothers won the award for best Xbox game at the 2013 Video Game Awards.
I don't think it was called Brothers.
No, I think I'm talking about that. The 2 guys that were in prison game.
A Way Out. That's what it is.
Way Out.
Oh,
Way
Out.
Out.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been 2 years ago then. I think.
Yes. Yep. Because last year they trotted him back out. Did they trot him back out there, or they were waiting for that moment last year? So, so we talked a little bit about Smash Brothers. Let's get on to what we've been playing, or kind of finish off the news first. What do you guys think? Let's do what we've been playing. We'll do what we've been playing. There's a couple more news bites after that, but
I'll save the rest of the news for later.
Yeah. So I'm going to be pretty quick with mine because I know that the majority of this is going to be Red Dead. I haven't been playing much, which is good. It was my daughter's birthday last week, so we were doing all kinds of house stuff, so I didn't get a chance to play too much. I did finish. I just reviewed the game, The Gardens Between. Fantastic game, and I talked about it in the past in like a couple episodes, but I want to kind of bring this quick little analogy up in that playing the game, so you control time. In this game, you control time. I've talked about it in the past. You're actually kind of just fast forwarding or rewinding time like a VCR or a cassette tape. But what's really kind of interesting, and it dawned on me, was because you don't control the actual characters, you're really just kind of giving them little nudges here and there to do things. Like you'll see them walking around, or they'll walk around during their kind of scripted motions, and they may like look over and see something. And if you want them to interact with it, you give them a little nudge and they'll interact with it. So you're not actually controlling them. You're just kind of helping them along the way. And it's very much like a parent teaching a kid. You're just kind of watching them grow. And I don't want to say I got emotional. I think I totally didn't, but it's kind of like watching your child grow, and you just give them nudges along the way to help them sort of understand the world and make decisions for themselves. And that's kind of what this game is like. And I really started to, once that realization kind of hit me, I started to enjoy this even more. I mean, I already liked it, but I enjoyed it a lot more, and it's like bubbled up to one of my favorite games of the year. I think I'll be writing about it again towards the end of this year in our lists. But yeah, really good. Gardens Between, check it out. I think it's out on everything now. It's fantastic. It's especially if you're a parent, totally check it out. But if not, if you just like really interesting, games with puzzle mechanics, it's pretty cool for that. So I've been playing that, finished that up, and started Dark Souls for the very first time on Switch.
Oh boy,
it's a good game.
It's I started with Pyromancer. I hope that's okay. I don't know. I don't know much of the classes. I made my character look pretty badass with silver hair. In honor of the new version of Geralt of Rivia, Netflix's version. I made my guy with silver hair and made him very attractive.
Did you buy the amiibo?
I ordered the amiibo. So here's my story, Sam. I have a very much like a Starlink story, like you do. I ordered the amiibo when it was announced. Super excited. I'm like, yes, cool. I got this amiibo, and I knew it was going to be sold out. So I pre-ordered it, and that was in May. October rolls around, the day before the game is released. So it's like, I think the game released on a Friday. Wednesday night at like 4 a.m, I get an email. So I wake up in the morning at like 5:45 every day or 5:30 every day. And I see I got an email from a couple hours before. Oh, it's GameStop. My thing must have shipped. The thing must have shipped, the amiibo, and it should be here. It says, oh, your order was canceled. I'm like, my order was canceled. Apparently I had changed my credit card at some point, because I think we had changed just the card, the expiration date ran out or something must have happened. And in PayPal, and it couldn't register it on GameStop's website. So instead of asking for a new form of payment, they just straight up canceled it, and that was it. So I didn't get the amiibo, and I was really pissed off that I couldn't get just the little dance move or whatever, the Solaire motion, which I think that's all the amiibo is anyways. So
Praise the Sun is just
Praise the Sun. That's all it is. So I was pretty bummed that I didn't get that, but yeah, I do have a bone to pick with GameStop. I did, however, order the Diablo 3 amiibo today, so that was from GameStop. So I guess they won out in the end. But yeah, it's not even though it's labeled as Dark Souls Remastered, it's actually not quite the remastered version that was on PS4 and Xbox One. Obviously, visually, it's not there in comparison to those two. Content-wise, I guess it's supposed to be there. But I don't know yet. I'm only like 3 hours in. So
yeah, I think if it's your first time, it's kind of hard to notice the new content. I mean, I don't remember playing it the first time around. I just remember like playing it on the PS3 and Blighttown being the absolute frame rate crap that it was then. I'm sure it's fixed now. So
you guys want to hear a fun story?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Do you remember Demon's Souls? Demon's Souls was the game, for anybody watching who doesn't know, Demon's Souls was the game that came out on PS3 only that preceded the Dark Souls series. I bought that game because I heard it was very good, and I started to play it coming off a 17-hour work shift, where previous to that work shift I had not slept for 30 hours.
Nice.
Played it straight up to the first bridge where that dragon is, got killed by the dragon, and snapped a PS3 controller in half.
Holy cow.
I was so mad. I was so angry, and then I just never played those games again.
Yeah. My mental note, never get Aaron angry because he helped out. Especially after all that lack of sleep and all the Monster Energy drinks you were probably pounding down.
5-hour energies. It was,
dude, they're 5-hour energies.
I was doing shots of 5-hour energies about every 2 hours by the end of it.
That is my I think at PAX and E3, you'll find me at the 5-hour energy booth. They always have 5-hour energy booths there, and they hand them out like candy to people. You see me going back like 3 or 4 times a day at those events. I think I dragged Sam with me one time. We had to like get to a meeting. I'm like, hey, hold on one second. I mean, like walk by the 5-hour energy. I'm like, I'll take.
They know your name by the end of it.
Please, yeah.
That's right after we swung by that Drake stand for like.
Yeah, it was Drake's. Yeah, they had the Drake stuffed cookies and stuff. Whatever.
Hey, do you like Twinkies and other Hostess foods? Well, here's Drake's, the worst version.
like the rapper.
It's no. I wish it was the rapper. No, these are like really bad. It's like Drake's, but it's like a duck, right?
Yeah, like we have Twinkies, but they're chocolate. They're
Oh.
called Devil Dogs instead.
Yeah, and they taste like what the store would make, like your Kroger's version of Twinkies and Ho Hos is. So that was great. So yeah, Dark Souls, and I'm excited to get into that more. I gotta go back and finish Octopath Traveler, but I'm excited to get back into Dark Souls more once and have you guys make fun of me along the way. So that's what I've been playing. What about you, Aaron?
I've been playing 2 games, and I've since published one thing and have another thing about.
Oh wait, I got more. Sorry,
you got more. Cut me off like that.
I have one more, and it's
all right.
You.
What you got?
Idle Champions.
Nice.
So
Yes.
I started that up, and I love to just let shit go in the background and let the game kind of play itself out.
Yes.
It's just a clicker game, but it's really well done. I am a sucker for clicker games, an absolute sucker.
Have you been playing this recent event? Because you can unlock 2 champions. Yeah, Liar's Night.
Yep, Liar's Night, exactly.
You can get croned into Narblitz End.
Yep. I think I got croned, so I'm excited. It's good stuff. Thanks for putting me out of that. I think I've already got like 100 plus hours into it. So
yeah, you're a little ways behind me, but I'm a little ways behind everybody who's been playing it since the alpha.
I mean, it's nice because you literally can just turn it on and walk away and never touch it again and rack up all that money. And
real talk, when I get to work every morning, I turn that game on and then immediately minimize it. And then at the end of the day, I open it up again and I look at it and I have done nothing to that game and I feel the greatest sense of progression. I feel so good. I've got shit done.
I wish my regular workday was like that. All right, what have you been playing, Aaron?
Yeah, so I've got two games I've been playing. The first one I have a piece up on SideQuesting about, which is the mobile game Ruby Amity Arena. Which is a basically it's a gacha game based in the Ruby universe, which is a property from Rooster Teeth. It's not good. It's really not good. So like I played it and I wrote a day 1 impressions. I've since played it a little bit more, and to the best of my knowledge, it seems like that game has already been hacked. So the way it works basically is you utilize the gacha mechanic to unlock cards, which are the characters from the show, and then they've got different strengths and abilities, and you basically make a deck of 8 cards and play against other people, and you use energy, which constantly refills, to summon those cards onto the field, and then you're trying to destroy towers and eventually like a main base, like Dota or League of Legends. And like that's fine, I guess. Since the second day onward, it really seems like there's some sort of invincibility hack happening where you'll be playing and a match will be playing out like normal, and then in the last 30 seconds of a match, your energy regeneration doubles, so you can play more cards faster to try and really eke out that last win. And I'm seeing people playing like doubles and triples of a card that you can't do that because you only get that one card in your deck. The card doesn't respawn until that character, like you play that card and the card's gone. And then, the rest of your cards get pulled in and then you can get that card again. But I'm seeing people play like doubles and triples of the same card and they're just not taking damage. Like they'll throw down like 4 cards at the same time, and like I'll throw down like 4 cards at the same time. And then all of my cards die and they haven't taken a single hit of damage, and I can't figure out why. And I'm pretty sure it's a hack, but I'm not totally sure. But my main problem with that game is the gacha mechanics are really heavily skewed to make you spend money. If you play something like Fire Emblem, the mobile version, or the one I played a lot of was Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. The games front load you with rewards. So, you play a little bit and then you get a bunch of rewards and it feels really good. And maybe you get a strong character and that's what hooks you to keep playing and maybe spend some money.
Right.
This game doesn't do that. This game is like, here's a bunch of quests. Oh, you don't get enough money to even buy a single reward. Maybe you should spend $1.39 to buy a crate. What do you think about that?
Oh,
jeez.
And I'm just like, nah, dog, I'm not gonna do that. They're like, well, what about this? It costs the in-game earnable currency to upgrade your cards, but you have to buy it with the stuff you buy with real money. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah, dog, I don't want that. So I've been playing that. I'm not. It sucks. I don't know. Don't play
Didn't
it.
the developers tweet back at you?
Yeah. So when I install that game, so I'm willing to admit that this might be on me. I had an iPhone up until about a month ago, and now I have an Android phone. And so when I went to install this game, it demanded permissions to access and manage my phone calls. I've never seen that before. So I took a screenshot. I took a screenshot of it and I tweeted the developers. I was like, yo, why does this want access and permissions to manage my fucking phone calls? And they're like, oh, that's ridiculous. Our game would never make phone calls on behalf of you. That's absurd. And it's like, I didn't say anything like that, but all right, a little defensive, but I'll take it. But yeah, like, I don't know, maybe that's an Android thing. Maybe every game. But yeah, so I've been playing that. And I've also been playing Thronebreaker.
Thronebreaker. This is the speaking of Geralt of Rivia. Gerald. See, your reset era and me with Gerald.
No, yeah. So this is the single player Gwent game, based in the Witcher universe. I think this game takes place somewhere between Witcher 2 and Witcher 3. I think. But yeah, it follows the Queen of Rivia. You know, the place where Geralt is from. Meve. She went off to do some shit and came back and left her kid in charge and came back and her kid's like fucked up and he sucks and there's bandits everywhere. And she's basically just rolling around with her crew, like killing all the bandits and like stabilizing her countries. But the story in it is like really, really fucking cool. And then you have to play Gwent to do all the battles. And it's, I don't like Gwent. So, like, I'm maybe not the best person to review this game because I really don't like Gwent. I don't like the way that they're doing card battle games compared to something like Hearthstone or Magic or anything like that. Because the basic conceit of Gwent is that you play cards, and then if your numbers are higher than the other person's numbers, even if you've not taken out all their cards and depleted their life force, you win. So it's like it's a weird twist on it, and it's like I don't really like it. But on top of that, I can't get my head around the cards and shit like that. Like they've all got weird like abilities and secondary abilities, and they're all named really weirdly. Like I don't know what the difference between a deploy and an order is. Like a deploy, I guess, is something that happens when you place a card, and I don't know what an order is. And some cards just have orders and don't do anything, and I can't figure out why. And Thronebreaker specifically, because it's a single player Gwent game, a lot of the card battles that you face are like special rules. So it'll be like, oh, this board has a bunch of monsters on it. Use these very specific 5 cards to take all the monsters out in one round. And if you die, you immediately lose and have to restart. So, there's a stream of me streaming this on Twitch as I was reviewing it, of me failing over and over again to beat this one battle, which is maybe an hour into the game for 40 fucking minutes.
Oh, jeez.
A round takes about 30 seconds.
Oh man.
Yep. So I've been playing that and
or trying to.
Attempting.
The one nice thing about Thronebreaker is that there's 3 difficulty settings, and if you play at least on the easiest difficulty setting, there's an option where if you start a battle and immediately forfeit the battle, you can just click a skip this battle button and it progresses the story. That's fine. Which is awesome because I really like the Witcher story and I don't want to play Gwent. So it's just like, all right, fuck it. I'm done streaming this. I've written what I'm going to write about it. Skip. Oh, the story's really cool. Skip. Oh, the story's still really cool. Skip. Man, she's not even a Witcher and she's such a badass. So yeah.
So well, it sounds like at least like if you're crap at Gwent, you can at least enjoy the story, right?
The thing that I'm gonna publish, I think I open it with saying there are two types of people that this game appeals to: people who like Gwent and people who suck at Gwent but really like The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm very much in the second camp. Like, I think like the point I'm trying to get at with this review or this first impressions or hot take or whatever that I'm going to publish is that even if you really don't like Gwent but really like The Witcher, it's still worth it to play this just for the story, because the story is really good.
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, it makes me wish it was like a visual novel or like a story, like an adventure game, something like that.
But it sounds like you can still do that. Like,
yeah, you totally can. It's just it. You can absolutely still do that. It's just irritating because, as far as I can tell, you have to start a battle and then forfeit and then hit the skip battle button when you restart the battle. So every single time, like, the game plays all these card battles, so it's like every 45 seconds to a minute, it's a new card battle that you gotta start and then fail and then skip. So it's just like it breaks up. It makes it feel paced in a weird way. But other than that, like, the story's really cool, and I'm gonna probably beat that game by skipping every battle just to get to the end of it.
It's like the game's constant reminders. Remember, you suck at Gwent. Here you go. Move on.
So then, like, the battles don't really have like any if you do good or bad in a battle, it really doesn't have any effect. Is that what you're?
If you do bad in a battle, it just says defeat, restart.
Oh wow!
You have to beat the battles to win. Yeah,
and you can just
to progress the story.
Okay.
But so when you skip it, it just treats it like you progress the battles, and I guess you don't get any rewards if there are rewards for the battles. I'm not totally sure, but
it has no effect on the plot. Okay.
There's a really good moment right at the start of the game where they set up the whole world, and it's like you're playing as Queen Meve of Rivia and one of the other countries, and you're rolling down with your troops, and there's like some monsters on the road, and there's a narrator, and he says something like, all of the troops who you've freshly recruited, ready their pikes and get in front of the queen to protect her from these monsters, and then she just fucking haymakers her troops out of the way to get up on these monsters with a sword, and you're just like, all right, this is very much The Witcher. This is absolutely the universe that I'm looking for out of this game. But yeah, I don't know. So I have mixed feelings about that game, but I think it's really cool. So
yeah,
and
maybe
that's what I'm
checking out, at least for the story. Then
that's what I've been playing. Yeah,
quick, defend the queen. Everybody get their decks out of their pocket.
Pretty much, right?
Oh, geez. Of course, Sam. Well, I'd love to hear what Sam, you, and Rexy are playing. I think you guys are basically playing the same thing. If not, are you playing things other than Red Dead?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I finished Valkyria Chronicles 4 this past week. We've talked about it a bunch on here already. I think I decided that story is too young adult anime for me. I don't know. It's just covered in anime tropes and like the whole like, oh, I'm a tough guy, but like I'm really sensitive on the inside, and you may or may not learn why I'm so sensitive or whatever. Like,
that explains Aaron to it.
Yeah. So like, there's I think some of the characterization is bad in that game, especially compared to like how strong I think the story of the first Valkyria Chronicles is. But I still think it's like a very good, like, paced, measured game for people. Some of the later like missions are a little long-winded. You kind of have to have there's like one map where I had to spend like basically 2 full play sessions of that game like in the same map. So it can get a little winded at time, I guess. But still a strong game. I don't think it's gonna be on anybody's like top games of the year. But if you're a Valkyria Chronicles fan or that series like interests you in the least bit, I think this would be fine to jump in and get a good understanding and play a little bit of it. But other than that, Red Dead would be all I have. So if Rexley has something else before that.
Oh yeah,
I have Rexley.
Well, I don't have so I've been playing Red Dead, but then slowly, but like very slowly, but now it's all ready and currently being written up. The very much long-awaited review of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, don't worry. We are still talking about that in our Discord every day.
Which is like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I took a different approach to Origins than I did with Odyssey, but like, just the grind is killing me. The whole issue with the amount of damage you can deal, like when it's split up between like Hunter, I think it's Hunter, Warrior, and Assassin damage. The whole point system, when you're picking all these weapons and whatnot, it's becoming a very more of an RPG than what it used to be, which I have mixed feelings about. So I'll put that in there. But when I'm not playing that, or when I'm not playing Red Dead.
Actually, before you get off that topic, I did want to ask a question. This is something that I've been following along to Assassin's Creed. I'll probably be picking it up around Black Friday. I already saw the deals that are going to be, some of the Black Friday ads have already gone online. But so is it? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding it, but is it almost like? So when I hear people talking about the game, instead of talking about where they are in the game, everyone kind of talks about what level they're at.
Yeah,
so I'm level 31. Oh, okay. Well, you still got this to do and this to do and this to do. Or I'm level 35. Okay, well, you still got this to do and this to do.
Right.
Are things gated behind levels or
not necessarily? But like, and you probably already saw this if you played Origins, where if you zoom out of the map, each region has like a specific level range.
Okay.
That you can go here, but it's, I don't know, let's say you have to be level 37 to be effective here. If you're level 24,
the recommended levels is what
it's not like you can't go here because it's whatever, it's not a higher level or whatnot. But I mean, I like to play very sneaky. I like to have the hidden blade just ready for anything. If there's a guy I want to get, I'll get him one kill, or one stab kill, and then drag him in or whatever. Because of the way it works out now, like you can't do that anymore, especially with the higher, not higher level, but like the higher ranking officers. So let's say there's forts throughout Greece here, and then you need to clear them out as part of part of the grind, I guess, or part of how you take down each nation state, which is a whole nother thing in itself. But so if you're taking out just a regular Joe Schmo archer, that's usually like a one stab kill. Like that's easy stuff. But like, let's say if you want to take out the pole march, which is like the head of the entire fort, more often than not, you can't kill him with one stab. You have to you'll stab him and it'll take out, depending on your overall assassin damage score, maybe somewhere between half to maybe 3/4 of their health. It sucks in a way because I feel like I don't have the same kind of power or strength as an assassin would. But again, this is all pre-Assassin Brotherhood or whatever. Right. But yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know. It kind of makes things a little bit more frustrating than they should be, because okay, I can't take this guy out. But if I go around and I find better weapons, maybe there will be. Maybe if I do all these side quests and level up, maybe I'll have more damage to deal. And then it's just like, it becomes this whole thing where you're like, you don't even remember what the original thing was about, or the original, your original mission. So yeah, it's there. Like, if you liked Origins, I feel like you'd like it, but
okay,
it's just the grind is just killing me. So but when I'm not playing that, when I'm not playing Red Dead, I'm doing a lot of F1 2018, which is
tell me about this.
Yeah, so
just piqued Sam's interest. F1.
Yeah, I was playing with my phone and I heard Formula One. And I was like, "What?"
We have a secret F1 fanboyism on the site here. So
is it? Oh, really?
We may have to start covering more of F1 stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. This is great, because I started watching Formula One kind of somewhat religiously, maybe about a couple of years ago. This is the year after Nico Rosberg, who used to drive for Mercedes, retired. So I've been watching everything after that. And that kind of got me into playing F1. So I actually have, I can't find it, it's down here, whatever. But I actually use a whole steering wheel, pedals set up to play it.
Cool.
Yeah, and I don't like picking, in career mode you can choose whatever team you want to race with. But I like starting from the bottom, which used to be Sauber, but it's now Williams. Tisk tisk, but whatever. But yeah, just going through like all the circuits as much as I can in the season. I'm doing it like the short version, so basically like the actual race itself is like 25% of what the actual distance is. Just because I get really frustrated because I don't ever have a good start. Because I don't use the clutch because I can't drive clutch to save my own skin. So but other than that, it's been really fun.
I always find like driving clutch with the wheel in racing games like a little bit more difficult than in. I mean, real life, I'm totally fine with the clutch, but in racing games, I can't do it.
Yeah,
because a lot of that's feel, isn't it?
Yeah,
you need like a really expensive setup to have like those like force feedback pedals to really have a clutch like feel like a real clutch.
Yeah, and it's tech. Excuse me. No, yeah.
True.
Yeah, which I don't know if anyone's watching. Like Fanatec is like this really high priced. I mean, they're really good though. I've played with a few Fanatec peripherals.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
And man, like, it's just so expensive. Yeah. So I just been doing that on the side, just to kind of keep like. It's nice to get a little bit away from Cowboys and ancient Greece. So yeah,
that would be a great crossover, Cowboys and ancient Greece.
Does that game for like practices before races and stuff? Does that game still have like the I don't remember if it was 16 or 17 that I've played last. But they used to have what I thought was the best thing for, ever to teach people to drive is during there's multiple practice sessions to Formula One before you qualify and then race. But in that game, you could run like I forget what they call them, but they were like practice simulations where some of them were like this will help you learn the course, and definitely. It's like it teaches you like gates of like this is where the lines you're supposed to take, and then like tire management and stuff like that. So I think that game used to. I mean, I haven't played the newest one, but I think it's like the best game to teach you how to drive these courses. And especially like in Formula One, you're only driving like 20 odd courses. So like you get that same stuff over and over again throughout seasons, where like something like Forza or even like Gran Turismo, like you're kind of, unless you're like investing time learning a track, you're kind of just like sight reading it for a little bit, and then like maybe get into a race, watch other people drive it, and you're like, okay, I kind of get a feel for that. But that game like goes out of its way to be like, no, this is the base drive line. This might be the driving line in the dry. This is the driving line in the wet. Find whatever works better for you in here and build off of this. And I've always really liked that in those games.
Yeah, no, it still has that actually. So a lot of, especially I haven't played because I've always kind of started playing it and then like stopped playing it after a while. Like I kind of got worn out. I actually never got past like maybe the first 4 or 5 tracks. So like I haven't learned tracks, say like, one of the ones that took me a while to learn was Monaco, and I only know now that you actually so there's a straight that you have to go down, but you actually. It looks like you're going off the racing line. You're going to the right, but only that's because there's a huge, like in the real world, there's a root or something or a small branch underneath the ground that, like, if you drive over it in real life, you're going to launch into the air, and you're going to be out of the race.
Is Monaco the one with the big descending turn, like a big loop before the course straightens out again?
I don't think so. I think you might be talking about Sonoma, but that's not a Formula One track.
Yeah, that's not a Formula One track, though.
Listen,
it's probably Project Cars, if anything.
Technically, I think they used to drive there, like way back in the day, but they haven't been in Sonoma for like 20 odd years, I think.
Yeah.
I'm old, leave me alone.
It's all good. But yeah,
it's okay. Somebody asked me if Michael Schumacher was still racing like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, well, he's like a vegetable, so no.
No.
I grew up.
Anybody know if Mario Andretti's still on the track?
But yeah, no, to answer your question, Sam, they still do have those things. So like when you start out in practice, there's like you have to go through the gates to to learn the racing line, and you have to learn how to do your fuel saving so that you basically not only save fuel when you're going around one lap, but you're also trying to get beat a delta time that they set, trying to get a race pace set up, trying to get a qualifying pace set up. They added one new this year that's called the ERS, which is the energy recovery system, which is basically energy that is received back from the exhaust and the brakes. So you actually, I don't have it by default like manually set in the game. I actually put it to auto just because it's another thing that I have to like manage while racing. And if I keep looking at the wheel, I'm going to crash.
Like the androids from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. But yeah, no, it definitely, the practice sessions are really all about practice. Like they really do go out of their way to help you out and learn, like tell you like, okay, this is how you should race here. This is the gates. This is the line you have to take. This is how fast you should be. I also turn on like the racing line just for the corners, just because I never have a good reference point for the corners. But after a while, I'm probably going to turn those off too and go full manual, because I have all the assists off right now. The only thing I have on is auto is the ERS system. But yeah, it's been great to do that. I've been currently in Azerbaijan, so like race 4 of the season.
That's awesome. I haven't played an F1 game in so long, so I maybe
get on it, man. Get on it. It's good.
Cool. Well, let's get into Red Dead. That's what we're gonna get on right now.
My first question is, Rexley, what have you been playing it on?
Red Dead?
Red Dead?
Yeah.
PS4. Although
Pro
I kind of
or
regret.
just-
Yeah, Pro. Although I
Okay.
regret after reading the or watching the Digital Foundry video, I kind of regret not getting it on the Xbox One X, which I also have.
Speaking of the Digital Foundry version, Digital Foundry says HDR is bullshit. What do you guys think about that?
I'm playing it on a base PS4 on a non-HDR television, so I can't tell you.
Same with me.
Yeah, I'll be
I'm
playing
not playing it yet. I'll be playing it on my base PS4.
I'll be playing it on a 1080p television, so I won't have the capabilities to notice that either.
And I'm playing on a Pro on a 1080p monitor, so there's a 4K TV here at my house. But I feel like HDR is just as cool as the tech is. I feel like not everyone's really fully embracing it yet.
Yeah, we're at a weird state with HDR where like there's no real standard for it.
Mhm.
So like, you know, the HDR that the game might use might not be the same type of HDR that like a television supports and stuff like that. So, and like some games, like I have a friend that runs the newest Monster Hunter has like HDR support. And that game looks blown out to shit
Is
on
this
his monitor.
Is this the Capcom Monster Hunter or the TI in a Humvee Monster Hunter?
I'm not sure I get the TI in a Humvee.
They're making a fucking movie. They're making a monster movie. They're making a movie where the real world and the Monster Hunter world combine, and the newest shot from the movie is a bunch of military dudes in a fucking Humvee, man.
Wait, really? Is this an American movie or a Japanese movie?
It's American.
It's starring Mila Jovovich.
Oh my god! And of course, there's a Humvee. Wait, isn't she the girl that's in? Wait, isn't she the same one that's in Resident Evil?
Yeah, that's her.
It's the same production house too.
What the hell?
Same director too, right?
All I want.
Oh, here's Mega Man with her as the main character.
All I want out of this movie is to see
Mila
those soldiers. I want them to drive that fucking Humvee off a cliff. I want them to have a rocket propelled grappling hook on the front of that Humvee, and I want them to attach it to a Rathalos so that they fucking fly in that Humvee. That's all I want.
If there's no Palicos, no sale.
Oh yeah, right. What if the world that they appear in their portal is where the Palicos are?
Oh my goodness!
Oh, it's gonna be the greatest movie ever.
Suddenly, I'm really excited for this film.
It's gonna be so good.
This Oscar-worthy.
I'm gonna look that up. Well, Aaron, hook me up with a link. You always do.
No, I got you. Don't worry.
I think it's in the Discord, but go ahead.
Yeah. So Red Dead. I don't know where to start with that game. It's arguably the least Rockstar, or like the least GTA Rockstar game that Rockstar's released in a while. Like the original Red Dead Redemption felt a lot like just a Western version of Grand Theft Auto, and there's something about this game that really doesn't. And it's probably the survival and kind of like the slower pace of things. But like even in terms of story, like Red Dead like kind of took itself serious, but still had some moments. And maybe I'm not just there yet in Red Dead Redemption 2, but I feel like this storyline like takes itself a lot more serious. It's like trying to tell an adult like narrative, where like other Rockstar games are like, oh, here's an adult narrative, and then also here's like 15 dick jokes. like right on top of it.
Hmm.
I've been liking the story a lot. I think like walking through camp and listening to all the different people like give their take on what's going on in the main story is really interesting. However, I have run into the bug that seems to be occurring with people where multiple members are not in camp. Like, I guess if you do a mission before another one in chapter 2, there's like 4 characters that if you don't talk to them before that mission, they just disappear from camp for like 2 whole chapters. Like, they come back in chapter 4, but they only appear if there's like a storyline thing that's driven with them. So like John Marston for me, like he's in camp and then all of a sudden he just wasn't there for like maybe like 4 hours of my gameplay, and then all of a sudden he had a mission back at camp, and now all of a sudden he's back at camp all the time. So I guess it's like a minor bug, since like you're not really losing too much story, you're just kind of missing those like one-off conversations in camp. But it is a bug that I guess Rockstar hasn't mentioned publicly, but a lot of people seem to be having.
I think I've noticed that. I'm trying to remember. There was a quest, and you did mention Marston, and there is a quest where I did talk to him in camp, and then he disappears, and then like a new quest pops up for him, but it's actually not in camp. It's like in another location somewhere. So maybe that's the bug. I don't.
Well, so like for me, so like Jack, John's child, and his wife, girlfriend, I don't know exactly what their relationship status is at the point in the game. But so they just don't exist in camp.
Fuck
like
buddies.
Oh.
Yeah, so like they don't like, it's pretty noticeable that the only kid that would be in camp just isn't there. So like or Sadie also isn't there for me. So like all those characters' storyline quests, like when they're available in the story progression, they show up in camp so you can launch those missions, but they're not just hanging out in camp.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like so I'm technically only losing these side conversations and stuff like that, but apparently they return in chapter 4. I'm not sure what causes the bug or anything like that, but apparently it fixes itself down the line. But other than that, man, that game is pretty. Even on a base PS4, that game looks, I would say, arguably comparable to something like Forza Horizon that I'm running on like a 4K, like 60 hertz monitor on PC. And like I think it looks great. Frame rate becomes an issue a little bit when you get into towns. Some of the bigger ones start to chug things along a little bit. But other than that, like just gorgeous to be like riding out of camp and like God rays coming through trees and stuff like that on your way out. Characters look really good. Like even side characters look great during conversations. Your horse's genitals do in fact shrink and grow. And man, do they shit a lot.
Yes,
they poop a whole lot.
They do.
I feel like every time I get off my horse, like he's either shitting or he's waiting until I'm coming back from the store to take a dump. But like, man, they poop a shit ton.
Can you make your horse fuck another horse?
Not that I've seen, but probably.
There's gonna be a mod for it on PC.
There's gonna be a whole horse mating sequence.
Oh,
if you like breed horses.
Speaking of which, there's been a thing where data miners found references to a PC version.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So everybody expect PC version.
So far, data miners have found references to a PC version and HTC Vive support.
So you can really get up in those horse balls.
Yeah. I mean, there's also some there's also some quote unquote leaks about like Red Dead Online where it's like, oh, you'll be able to buy property and guns. Like, no shit.
All right,
like,
there goes that news report. I'll just knock that one off the list.
Knock that one straight on out. Technically, if you want to talk about a real news report with Red Dead, they settled that lawsuit with that leaker.
This is a big one actually.
Yeah, I forget how it was it like $8 million, $2 million, something like that.
No,
but
$1 million.
Oh, was it $1 million?
It was $1 million donated to charities of their choice.
Mm-hmm. However, that basically confirms that leak that Red Dead would be getting a battle royale mode is probably more than likely accurate. Because that leak
is so bizarre.
That doesn't surprise me because Grand Theft Auto 5 has one of those in the online mode. They did that already. So, Red Dead, which is Red Dead Online, which is going to be Cowboy GTA 5 online, having that, like, that's not shocking.
Yeah, that online should be interesting. Because I wonder how many of like the side activities are going to be present.
That's
and I don't mean like fishing and stuff like that, but like to what extent did those bring you results, right? Like they have raiding homesteads and like stealing all their money, or they have like fishing and they have like poker and blackjack and stuff like that. So obviously, like poker and blackjack is going to be playable online. It wasn't the first one.
Be playable online.
Like I feel like it's it should be obvious that like hunting and fishing are probably going to be online. But my question is for online, like how far do they take that? Like are they have like a server-wide events for Grand Theft Auto? So is there going to be like a server-wide event where it's like, oh, whoever catches the biggest fish in the next 5 minutes like gets like 5,000 gold or whatever, Like we'll have to see, but
8 pocket watches.
Yeah, 8 pocket. Hey man, there's a lot of people that keep giving me pocket watches for doing nice things.
Yeah, just same here.
Yeah, or I mean, robbing them blind. Also the option there.
They took away my liar's dice though. By the way, I'm still kind of salty about that.
I will say that game, like more than a lot of other ones, has made me stop and listen to like NPC conversations, or have made me like sort of like investigate things and see like what's up. Like I had a guy that ran up to me and he's like, hey, like I just jumped off the back of this like jail caravan. Like, can you please shoot like the chains off of me? Like, no, ain't no one gonna like believe me in town that I just stumbled into these chains. Like, I need them before I can go back to town. So instead of shooting the chains off of him, I just decided to hog tie him.
Yeah, you did.
And carry his ass back to town. And no, the game does not at all tell you that that's an acceptable thing. So I like put him on the back of my horse and ride into town. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, am I going to get in trouble for having a dude hog tied to the back of my horse, like coming into town? But I just picked him up and walked into the sheriff's office. And as soon as I walked into the sheriff's office, the guy was like, oh, hey, thanks for that. Like, go ahead and put him in the cell.
Thanks for that.
And I like put him in the cell and he gave me like $20. And I was like, oh, the game didn't tell me I could do that. I just wanted to see if it was a possibility.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough. So it has like weird, like emergent stuff like that, I guess. It's obviously scripted. Like there's like the one that everybody's been talking about and showing video of is the one where you walk up on this guy and you're like, hey, like, do you need help with your horse? And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. And then like he gets kicked right in the back of the head. Yeah, from his horse. Like, and your guy goes like, oh shit, as like the horse like runs off. So there's like stuff like that where clearly it's scripted. Everybody's going to see that as long as they stop and like kind of interact. But like just based on that scenario, there's still like 4 different things you could do. Like you could just leave and not do anything. You could rob him because he's dead and he's not going to need it anymore, which may be the exact same line Arthur Morgan says. You could rob the saddlebag of the horse, or you could rob both the saddlebag, the horse, and the guy, and then take his horse to the stables and sell it. Like, there's like there's every scenario. It seems like there's like a handful of things you can do. It might not be as open as something as like Breath of the Wild, where it's literally like, well, I'm going to go ahead and knock that tree over and then stasis it and make it explode or whatever. But it has at least enough options that like it allows you to experiment and fail and sort of figure out what you want to do in further scenarios.
So, that scene you were talking about where you walk up on the dude and he gets kicked by the horse and dies. If you know that's coming, can you stop before that triggers and just pull your rifle out and shoot the horse?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can, but that guy's going to be super pissed that you put a bullet in his horse's head.
Yeah. And that leads to a whole other thing where like, oh no, like you shot my horse, I'm gonna report you, and then you got to track him down and kill him or hogtie him to make sure he doesn't get reported. Then hopefully no one sees you do it, so you don't, so it basically can tumble on.
What if you get the best gun in the game from that guy?
I mean, I'd kill him. I just put the I have you can actually equip the mask or whatever, and I'd probably do that prior, but. I mean, there's options there too. I mean, that's like Sam said. There's a lot of there's a lot of things you can do with any of the things that you stumble upon. And to kind of go off on the choices you can make after a side quest, there was one where I went back to the very beginning where you start in the snowy area at the northern part of the map, and I went back there to this frozen lake where I had to find this one guy for another quest just because I was curious what would happen. I went back there. And there was one guy there, and he came up to me, he went running. He's like, hey, he helped me out. My friend's lost in the snow. I can't find him. Can you help me out? And you can say yes or no from that point on. You can decline and move on, or you can accept it and help him out on that minor quest. So I actually end up accepting it and helping him out. I walk around. I eventually find the guy. He's dead, like across this huge stone, big brown stone. He's dead on it. And so and then even at that point too, there's an option. Should I tell the guy the truth, or should I just lie and say, oh, I can't find him? So you can end the quest even earlier than that. Or end the quest earlier before than intended. So I actually opted to tell him the truth. And so the quest is technically over at that point. I don't have anything else to do at that point. But then I was just curious. I was like, oh, maybe I should go, go follow him and see what happens, because this dude's just crying. He's just yelling, I can't believe it, he's dead. I feel so bad around here. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, let's just follow him and see what happens. And so I follow this guy. He gets to this place where his friend died. He's crying, he's weeping, and then it goes quiet for maybe half a second, and then it goes back to, oh my god, no, oh my god, because he's not crying about his friend. He's freaking out because there's a grizzly bear behind me that just pops out of nowhere and just basically kills him in the process. And it escalates to this whole thing where I have to take down the grizzly bear to save my own skin. And then I go, oh, and I can skin the bear and take it into town and sell it for whatever, or use the meat for whatever. So out of one side quest that I could have declined at the very beginning, I got bear pelts out of it, or bear fur, whatever the terminology is. So yeah, it definitely keeps you busy for more than a few hours, I think.
Yeah. My favorite moment in the game so far is there's a very early quest where you go into the first main town and you do a whole bunch of stuff. But at the end of the quest, somebody recognizes you. And it's I'm going to go tell Johnny Law, all right? And gets on his horse and starts running away. And you're like, yeah, all right, you steal a dude's horse. Well, you borrow a dude's horse. Because the guy's like, that's my horse. And you're like, I'll bring it back. Don't worry, I'm just borrowing it. And you're riding this horse and you cut through this field, or not this field, but this farm. And this guy is tossing hay across the way. And this was maybe the second time I was on horseback the entire game. And this guy throws a hay bale, and it hits the front of my horse, and I topple over this horse, and the horse lands on top of me. And I think I verbally in real life yelled, "Holy shit!" It was so there was such a thud through the base of my speakers, and just brutal. This horse landed on top of me, yeah. And that game, instead of wasted, like it says in GTA, just says dead. I sat there and laughed for 20 minutes. Yeah. But at the end of that mission, as long as you don't kill the horse, I'm sure, it tells you hey, if you borrow somebody's horse and you bring it back to them, maybe they'll reward you, or they won't report you to the police. So I rode back into town. This guy was like, hey, that's my horse. You came back. You did come back. You didn't lie to me. And he's like, yep. And he gave me a piece of bread or something. It was thanks for bringing my horse back, mister. And just walks away. And I could have done anything to that horse. I could have killed it. I could have sold it 2 towns over for a profit. I could have kept it as my own horse. But yeah, I think stuff like that's cool. And people in town tend to know your reputation. There's this one bar that I keep getting into fist fights with.
Oh yeah.
Just by complete accident, because occasionally you'll hit circle to get out of a menu, and the game will be like, hey, you're already out of that menu, and you'll just sucker punch somebody for no reason. It's been plenty of times where that's happened by accident. But
this game is straight up has Hollywood bar fights, right? You hit a dude, yeah. And then the whole bar is fighting, right?
It can happen.
And sometimes, like I punched this one dude, and everybody was like, "Good riddance." That guy's been a real asshole all day. And I was like, "Good, I did it. I did this bar a service." Yeah, but like every time I go to that bar now, they're like, "Please don't start anything. Like, just get a drink or like get a drink or whatever you're here for and get out."
Please don't start anything.
Like,
So I live in a very rural place. There is one bar, and there is a ban list of people that are banned for life, and those bans tend to last about 5 years. That conversation happens so often. Where people come back after the 5 years, like they've not tried to start any shit, and then the first conversation when they walk in is, "Please don't start anything," and then of course inevitably they start some shit and get banned again. But like that's not a made up Hollywood conversation, is what I'm saying. Like that happens.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
and even like I'm assuming, Sam, that this was in Valentine, right? Which is like the first town you go into. And funny enough, I actually went back to that town. I've been back a few times, but like I went back yesterday to get some ammo from the gun shop, and I go in, and even the gunsmith's like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy that beat up that one guy at the bar the other day," and you're like, "Yep, that's me." Like they just remember it, and it's just a nice little touch of detail to kind of help flesh out the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, which, by the way, I'm enjoying, and I know we've been talking about this in the Discord chat. I enjoy the non-action parts of it too, where it's just like you just walk around, you get to really take everything in. When you, I don't think I've unlocked the option of fast travel yet back to the main camp or whatever. But whenever you're traveling across like these long patches of empty land, you can just, I think on the PS4 you hold down the touchpad and you activate like the cinematic camera, which basically means like, oh yeah, you can drop the controller and just watch your guy, gallop through this entire world, and it looks really cool. Like the camera will like swivel around like a movie shot, or it'll do like a crane shot that goes up, or like a helicopter cam follow, and it's really cool. Like you get to see all these things. You get to see all of it. Like it's not just a ride to so and so place. You're actually getting a really nice view of the world around you. So
does the cinematic camera autopilot your horse?
Yes, but you can also control it in that cinematic camera if you choose to do so.
Yeah, if you have a waypoint set, it will walk towards that. And you can still get attacked by like rival gangs and stuff like that while you're in that camera mode. So it's not the smartest to like put your controller down. And
that's true. Yeah, that is true.
There's times where it's like you'll ride up and then be like, "We're robbing you, mister," and it's like, "You better stand still, mister," and you're just like riding slowly, and getting shot the whole time. I think early on in that game, like travel and stuff like that seems like it's going to take a long time. Like before you like bond with your horse, like it doesn't go very fast. It takes forever to get places, and it feels like traveling like is going to take you forever. But as soon as you get like a good bond with your horse and you sort of figure out like the layout of your surroundings, like it doesn't take long really to get anywhere. It's certainly like measured and paced in a way that starts out very slow. Like I don't think until like chapter 3 do you really get sort of the ability to sort of tackle things the way you want to, or just kind of like enjoy the world to the extent that the game wants you to. You're still kind of learning tutorial stuff like all the way through that. And even in chapter 3, it's still kind of giving you a little bit of tutorial stuff, but you can technically do anything it's teaching you there all the way back at the start. It's just kind of like not abusing you with everything at right up front. Like I just got to a mission. I guess it was not just, but towards the end of chapter 2, it teaches you that you can draw your gun and hit up on the D-pad, I think it is, and you'll shoot up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use that as like a threatening way, or like, use it to like get animals to move away, or like scare predators away from your horse. And that's something that you could technically have used way before that, but the game's like waiting to teach you that. So it's not like teaching you the 20 other things with your horse, or the 30 other things with your gun. I really wish they would have talked about gun maintenance somewhere along the line, though.
Yeah.
I found that out by complete mistake, and that's pretty important in that game because your guns degrade pretty quickly.
But then again, you can also, I think from what I've read, I think you can somewhat slow down the overall degradation by adding those leather wraps that you can actually get at the gunsmith.
Yeah, you can either, there's like a couple ways to do it. There's the trinkets and stuff in the game.
Yeah.
That does like slower degradation. I think the upgraded holsters and stuff like that increase your gun's durability.
Mhm.
And then also, yeah, like accessorize the guns to make them better. Also, you can maintain your guns out in the open world anytime. Like you just go into the weapon wheel and maintain. But anytime you go to a gunsmith, you can just have him clean all your guns for you right there too.
Right. Oh, and going back to what you were saying about shooting your gun up the air. So you're in chapter 3. I think I'm still in chapter 2, and that was actually taught to me because of a random like stranger quest that I ran into a while back.
Oh, okay.
So the game kind of recognizes, oh yeah, you're doing this for the first time. Here's how you should do it then. So I'm kind of curious now that I know that that's going to happen at the end of chapter 2. I want to see if the game will remind me or if it'll just say, oh yeah, you probably know it, so we're not going to tell you again. So I'm curious to see what they do about that. Yeah.
The one complaint that I have with it so far is the draw mechanic. I have not.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
to work correctly for me at all. What you're supposed to do is like it's the Wild West. You were gonna draw, but you hold whatever your trigger button is. You hold that. But you don't push it in all the way. You like hold it halfway, and that charges your like Deadeye meter. So how long you get to like aim before like they'll shoot and the draw, you'll die or lose the draw or whatever. I do not know when I'm supposed to pull my gun because there's been plenty of times where I felt like I drew my gun way too early and I can aim forever. And then there's times where I feel like I drew my gun perfectly and I get shot right in the mouth. Or like I feel like I'm like, okay, I like drew it, but now I only have like 1 second to aim, even though I felt like I was holding down on that trigger like perfectly fine. Like I guess maybe I'm just reading it wrong. But like, man, I have not yet won any of those draws on the first try.
So what I've kind of learned, and I'm in the same boat as you, because there was a quest that I had to do where I had to have a duel with a guy, and it took me like 3 or 4 times to kind of get the hang of it, where it's part holding it down like halfway, and then you have to kind of watch the guy that you're dueling with, because I feel like you hold it halfway and then a meter slowly fills up, and the tutorial window in the brief moments that I could read it in that duel was like the slower the gauge on the, because there's a little button gauge that pops up from that draw thing, so the slower the gauge goes around the circle, the more time you'll have to aim in the Deadeye mode or whatever. But you hold it for you go too slow, the guy pulls his gun on you and you're dead, obviously. So I feel like it's part of like holding it down and having it go as slow as possible. But once I see him reach for the gun, I just hold down. I think the draw in PS4 is R2, so I like smack down R2, and then it goes to Deadeye mode, and I immediately aim for wherever to kill them, hoping that I've had enough time that was accumulated during that gauge phase or whatever you want to call it. So that's how I've learned it. I'm still kind of perfecting it, but yeah, it definitely is something that's kind of frustrating. If you're in chapter 3 now, I'm assuming they haven't taught you at all, aside from trying it in action. There's no like someone like there's no one in camp like, hey, let me show you how to duel, and like here's a dummy, like shoot it, and then you have to do the whole thing. So it doesn't seem like that's a thing yet, but
no, yeah, I haven't experienced anything like that. It's just been there's a couple like side quests and stuff like that where you're required to like draw on opponents. And there's like a couple of like random events. Like I think there was a guy in Valentine that challenged me to a draw.
Yep.
And stuff like that. Seriously, like a couple of those opportunities. I mean, you're only in chapter 2. I'm only in chapter 3, so I don't want to spend like, too much time like digging into the nitty gritty of Red Dead, especially.
How many chapters are there in the game?
I don't know.
47. I don't know.
Yeah, I know where I'm at in 3 still feels like there's a lot of that game left.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of side quests that are optional and like pretty good. I did a side quest last night that is probably one of the best like Rockstar side quests I've played in a long, long time. And it's one of those where it's like you know what's going to happen like while it's going on, but it's still hysterical and still like or like Arthur's character like treats the situation like very goodly, yeah, very comically, but also like with that like I'm an outlaw, I'll kill you like mentality in it.
Yeah.
So like, and I mean, we'll probably talk more about Red Dead in the future because I know Tom actually is very anti-Red Dead, but then Tom's very anti-existence in life. So
what's great about him being anti-Red Dead is that he's anti-Red Dead, but that's all he's playing is Red Dead. Like,
Also,
like Gamer Ranks went somewhere this weekend, right? Like some event, and he's
great.
Just to play Red Dead.
Yeah, he's in fucking Oklahoma or something right now.
He packed his fucking Xbox with him in the carry-on
Just
to play Red Dead, the game he hates.
One X with me at all times to play. No, love you, Tom. But we'll
fuck you, Tom.
You're okay, Tom.
When we when we get towards the end of that, I'm sure we'll discuss it more. There's some stuff like I've been doing a little bit of hunting, but I haven't been like super into it. I hate fishing in real life, so I've been trying to avoid that like the plague. Been playing a lot of dominoes though. There's so many modes of dominoes you can play in that game, and I cannot wait to play dominoes online and just take everybody's money.
I will say too, to go off of that, like this game is a collector's paradise. Like there's just so many from from the original game there was stuff like hunting and like treasure chests and all that stuff, but it seems to have doubled in size. Like I still run into things that I ran into a quest the other day, like it's just a random stranger that popped up on the map, and I went there and it's this guy that like wants me to find like some weird like stone etchings throughout the world. And he's just like, yeah, if you find him, like mail me. You have to actually go to I think the post office and mail him the actual location of it. It's like mail me the location and I'll go check it out. And it's like that's like the 5th or 6th collectible quest I've stumbled upon.
There's sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was gonna say the game. You mentioned the mailing part, but the game really does, from what I've been told and what people have explained it's much more of a simulation style because, like, when you're shopping, from when you're like you go into a shop to buy something, it's not like a menu pops up. You're actually looking at shit on shelves. Is that
yeah? So when you go in there, you can actually go to the shelves, buy it like separately, or go to the desk and the guy has a catalog and you can browse through and buy it there.
That's cool.
I heard too. I was actually looking at the Red Dead Redemption subreddit the other day, and there's the companion app that came out at the same time. Someone I think said they bought like weapons there, and then they were delivered to them in game, like actual mail or something like that. I have no idea.
Oh wow,
what the thing is there. So
app. That's cool.
Yeah, so maybe there's use for the companion app. I haven't used the companion app since Fallout 4, and I didn't use it that much. So. But it's I'm definitely taking my slow time with it just because it's just nice to look at. It's just fun to figure out maybe this thing's here, maybe this thing's there, or this spot on the map is still unexplored. Maybe I should check it out. And then I come up with that, like I start with that main idea. Okay, go here, great. But it always gets sidetracked. There's a dude that needs saving. There's someone that's being held up, or there's like this mystery that I find, or like there's always, I think, even though there's this huge empty world that looks empty, at least there's a lot. There's definitely a lot to do. I'm wondering how that's going to translate to something like online.
Yeah.
Where there's huge concentrations of towns, and everyone's going to be there. So I want to see what the kind of how Rockstar motivates players to not to always stay in town, but to go into.
Is that you downloading the app, Aaron?
Trying to. Your device is not compatible with this app.
Oh, that's given. Is it an Android or is that an old iPhone?
I might just download it too.
It's an Android S3, I think. S3 Neo. Galaxy S3 Neo. I don't know how their phones are named. Something like that.
Dang.
Apparently I'm too fucking old school for the companion apps for the goddamn old school cowboy game.
Let's see if this works with my Nokia N-Gage. Let me go 1 second.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think the overall takeaway for Red Dead so far for me is that, like, I feel like the internet has been very hot and cold on it. I think people were expecting Rockstar to reinvent the wheel here, and I don't think they have. I like this game for the direct opposite of why I like Breath of the Wild. Like, Breath of the Wild felt like very new, very different take on open worlds, like allowed you to do anything, and like everything that you did was up to your own devices and not scripted. Where Red Dead is very heavily scripted, is like basically like the best culmination of what open world games are currently, and is the best version of that, and is very like measured and paced, and is very like, we want you to focus your eyes here, and we're like, we're moving the cameras in ways that we want you to see these things, and these characters act in a way that we want you to see them act in, and it's very controlled. And I think that that's maybe not what people expected from Red Dead. And I think it's a blast because of that. But at the same time, there's some other game that did the exact same thing that's not as well written and not as well controlled as something that Rockstar can handle. I wouldn't enjoy at all. Like, I've not enjoyed an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 3. Which I know people hate me for, that I think Assassin's Creed 3 is the best Assassin's Creed that ever.
Not even Black Flag?
Ah, dog, I don't like boat combat in that game.
I will end you.
It's
Man.
It's too not archaic. That's not the term I'm looking for. It's too like heavy-handed, I think, that boat combat. It like restricts you in ways that you shouldn't be restricted. And then, like, it has the Ubisoft problem of nothing quite works exactly how they intended it to. So it's like, I'm aboard that boat, and then their boat goes flying up in the air. I'm like, I guess I'm not boarding that boat then. And maybe it's just because that's what I'm looking for. Like, I don't know if I would want a Red Dead game in the style of Breath of the Wild, where I was just kind of like left to my own devices, and like no one's out there, and I'm just kind of like the only lone dude in the West, like shooting out buffalo when I want to.
Looking for poop seeds.
Yeah, right. I think the fact that it's like, it almost feels overly structured at times, that makes, when they do give you that freedom, even more rewarding in that game. So I like it so far.
Yeah, I hate to go for this comparison because it's such an obvious reach, but it's like, it's kind of like a more controlled, like, it's like a more controlled version, but it's a more controlled version of like what Westworld is. If you guys have seen the HBO
that's
show.
interesting,
because like, and I remember specifically from this is all from the first season, because that's when the park was tame, but. I remember there was a scene where some of the people were talking and said, "Oh yeah, if you interact with this person, that starts the quest. If you interact with this person, that starts the quest. Other than that, it's all up to you. You can go wherever you'd like. You can stumble upon whatever craziness happens or whatnot." So in a way, yes, that's kind of what this is. But yeah, I can kind of see how people kind of want a combo of what Breath of the Wild, which, by the way, I've yet to finish, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is right now, and to kind of see those combined together into something crazy.
There is one really kind of good similarity between Breath of the Wild and Red Dead Redemption 2, and that both of them have phenomenal horseball physics.
I will say that both of them have very good boys. There is a
very good boys
in both games. There's apparently cats in Red Dead, and I have yet to see them, and they will be getting all the pets when I do.
Yeah, I've been petting every dog I've met. I've petted it. Like,
you're gonna have a pack of dogs following you around.
Well, so what's funny is, like, even so, there's been a few times where I've stumbled upon like a wagon that was held up, and the people who are driving it are dead, but the horses are still there. And so what I'll actually do is I'll cut them free from the wagon, then like give them a little pat, and then tell them to flee, and you're like, yeah, and then they like gallop away. Like, I give you a pat. Like, it's all good. We have a mutual understanding.
I'll let you know though. Look out for like making them flee, because I did that to somebody and got kicked right in the mouth. For
Oh
it,
yeah,
so.
no, it's happened. No, it's definitely happened. Where
Thought I was doing a good thing and I got a horse hoof in my face for it.
Yeah, no, if the gif of the guy getting knocked over getting kicked in the face by his horse is funny enough, it's even funnier when it happens to like your own character, which is it's just funny because like the screen just like drastically changes color, like you just got like knocked out. And the first thing I do, and I'm pretty sure you do the same thing, Sam, is the first thing I do is just I look for my hat and I'm like, where's my hat? Like I lost it. I didn't pick that up.
There's been so many times where I've cleared out like a place I was robbing or something, and I just walk around to all the bodies and try on this hat. No, I don't like that one. Try on this hat.
Good. Yeah.
No. Oh, yep. I'm leaving with this one, I guess.
Yeah. No. There's been a lot of times where I'm just like in the middle of a gunfight, like, let's see how this hat works. Oh, yeah, it's okay. And just shoot one guy, go back down. Let's try this one hat. Yeah, it's okay too. But yeah, no, I've got nothing but great things about it at the moment. It's pretty fun.
It's I'm hoping to get to eventually. I'm staring at the first Red Dead Redemption up on the wall. They gotta just bring the first Red Dead to Switch. You cowards. It'd be perfect. And I'll get back into it.
Isn't there like a Twitter? I need to follow it. Isn't there like a Twitter account that says like make every game for Switch or something like that?
Yeah, it's the whole Pets initiative. Put everything on Switch.
Yeah, that's what it is. Hey, we got Dark Souls on there. Why can't we have a Rockstar game on there?
We got Gino in Smash Brothers. Why can't we get? Oh wait, no, we didn't.
Oh man,
too soon.
Too soon. All right, so Red Dead. Yeah, we'll have more to talk about that in the coming weeks. I'm sure as more of staff gets into it and Tom gets back and you guys get in deeper. So
and speaking of Red Dead. It did $725 million in its first 3 days.
News.
Which is insane, by the way.
Despite all the controversy surrounding Rockstar work conditions, it is apparently like one of the best-selling games ever. Only beaten in that same time frame by Grand Theft Auto 5, which did $1 billion in its first 3 days.
Rockstar.
They just know it.
Mm-hmm.
They just know how to do it. And considering like how very close to the vest they play all of these things, they're basically like Valve in that they don't really advertise that much, or if they do it like when they know the game is good enough for for public consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only started seeing like YouTube ads for Red Dead maybe the week before.
Yeah.
Does I gotta look up a name of a song. You guys listen to music, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I've heard of it.
Impaired.
I've heard of it.
Here's a question. So I don't watch TV. I don't really watch a lot of movies. Like I'll go to the theater and see movies, but that means the only ads I'm seeing are for movies coming to the theater. And I don't really see a lot of ads online because I use an ad blocker because I'm scum.
Good man.
Has there been a Red Dead 2 ad that features the song Ain't No Grave by Johnny Cash? Because that is the only thing I can hear in my head whenever I see anything about Red Dead.
Let me look it up.
I don't think so. I think it's been all their like orchestrated stuff and all of their ads.
That's what I thought too. And I just, for some reason, I'll see a GIF of like somebody riding a horse in Red Dead, and I just hear that song in my head. I'm just like, I don't think this song has ever been associated with this game, but all right, let's do it. This is a good song.
If you want to see a good GIF with a country music song, I implore you to find the GIF of what's his name? Guy Fieri eating food and having Johnny Cash's Hurt play underneath it.
You should find that and tweet that out.
Yeah, I'll find you that link.
I will say though, like there hasn't been any like famous songs that have been put in along with the Red Dead Redemption 2 ad. But I remember in the first Red Dead Redemption, when you go to Mexico, there's like an original score that actually has lyrics, and I'm wondering if they did that again for this one. But I mean, I haven't gotten past.
Do you go to Mexico in this one?
Not that I can.
Because
I don't think so.
Because as I understand it, you're in the same region as the first one. Like you start like one state over or whatever the regions are called, and then you end up in the same region as the majority of Red Dead 1 takes place in, right?
Yeah, at some point. I'm actually busting out the game map right now. Which, by the way, I love how they still have it in the cover. By the way, they're in the game case. Excuse me. They still give you the nice map that comes with it. I actually got a second map too because I got the special edition one, which I don't think really is worth it, but whatever. I don't think there is Mexico on here at all. Yeah, no, there isn't. So.
No, I don't think you go to Mexico. It is referenced. One of the characters in the game, spoilers for the original Red Dead, from this game is in Mexico in game 2, or in the original Red Dead. So, and he's talked to me about his time back in Mexico before he fled to America.
Yeah.
So you guys are all Americans, right? Like you guys you guys did American history in school.
Mm-hmm.
So Red Dead takes place in the states of New Austin and West Elizabeth.
Oh, those are fictional.
Well, are they fictional? Because New Austin, you assume is Texas, right? Because that's where Austin is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way that GTA does like San Andreas, which is not even an actual state,
right? But then they just have Mexico, right?
But they just have. Well,
you want to talk about that though? I was just doing a side quest yesterday, and somebody mentioned Pennsylvania.
Hey, you're doing one right now.
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah, but somebody was like, "Yeah, I lost somebody up in Pennsylvania a couple years ago," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, hello. I guess Pennsylvania is real in Rockstar's world."
Yeah, they just take like one small fraction of the real world and then they remove it and they go, yeah, in its place is this fictional world that we've created. So
hey, Rockstar, I know that there's rumors that you guys are working on Bully 2, and if it's based on if it's based on like the guy from Bully 1 going to college in the US, if it's set in Pennsylvania, can you please hire me as a voice actor? I went to school in Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania.
So here's the ultimate question, right? So New Austin, West Elizabeth, they're fake regions that are made for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I assume, Blackwater, which is like I guess the main town in Red Dead 2.
Nah, technically no, because it's Saint Denis, which is like their version of New Orleans.
So it's like Louisiana and Texas, right?
So they have fake towns and stuff like that. Does Red Dead take place in the same universe as the Grand Theft Auto games? Because those are all interconnected.
It could. Allegedly, yes. Because there is a way that you could make your character on GTA Online be the descendant of John Marston. If you had played Red Dead on the same system that you played GTA on. And I think that there is references to like some of the, I believe in one of the GTA games, they make references to Dutch's gang. I could be wrong on that. But I think that they're considered to be in the same world.
It doesn't help that, I think it was Marston in the first game says something like, if all this goes horribly wrong, I'm moving to Russia and naming all my kids Nico. I think that's what he said, something like that. Changing his name to Belich and naming all his kids Nico.
I don't remember that, but I do think something like that happened though.
Yeah. Oh god, my joke just flopped there. I'm sorry.
No, that's all good.
No, it's not, Rexy. Stop.
Look, man, I'm the guy that's like, no, it's okay, because I don't want to see the cringe happen. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, you're fine.
Every listener is cringing right now. No. every one listener.
Every one listener, which is gonna be me.
It'll be Ryan Gann, actually. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Oh, good times, good times. So, Red Dead, you guys are slowly making your way through the old. New alternate history American West and playing with your horses. So
yeah,
I can't. I am definitely jealous. I am definitely jealous.
You'll find time. I know you will.
Yeah,
managed to get us back on a Red Dead, but we were in the news.
Yeah.
And it occurs to me that Red Dead 2 did however many millions of dollars in its first 3 days. And that probably had something to do with the fact that PlayStation 4 shipments have topped 86.1 million.
Congratulations, Sony.
Yep.
Dang.
And along with that, the Nintendo Switch has passed 22.86 million, with 3.19 million of those sold in just this past quarter.
That has now officially passed the GameCube in a little over a year.
Ooh. Damn.
Yep. So what's really interesting about these two devices, these two consoles, the PS4, it's had another great quarter. It was kind of, I don't want to say dipping, but it's starting to slow and show its age a little bit. But they're still, I mean, the PS4 is going to hit 100 million. I mean, we're pretty, we're confident of that, right? It's if it's out for 2 more years or a year and a half, it's going to hit 100 million. We know the PS5 will be coming out probably 2020. I don't know if it'll be next year, but I'm going to assume 2020 to keep that momentum going. You'll probably see a new Switch around that time too. I would not be surprised if Nintendo accelerates stuff, and we know we're going to see a new Xbox. So things are going to move pretty quickly here over the next 12 months. But man, it's good numbers for Sony and Nintendo there. I think Xbox is they actually sold more consoles this period than they did the same time last year too, if I remember correctly. But either way, that Sony leak for Black Friday, which turned out to be true because the Black Friday ads are going up, for a $199 PS4 with Spider-Man, that's going to sell a ton.
Ooh, that's a good deal.
That is a good deal.
I mean, Spider-Man, man, I haven't finished that game either.
Spider-Man was a incredible game, and at some point when that DLC goes on sale, I'm definitely going to pick that DLC up and go back to that game.
That $200 price is brilliant.
That is mighty tempting.
Yep.
I mean, I'm wondering then, with that out, I'm wondering what Microsoft does as a response. Like, what game do you bundle it with to make it appealing in the same?
Maybe you put Sunset Overdrive out on PC.
Hell yeah.
Nice segue.
Thank you. Yeah, the ESRB rated Sunset Overdrive, so that's coming to PC. And that is maybe one of the greatest games on this generation of Xbox that fucking nobody played.
I've never played it either.
Was that Insomniac or was that
it's Insomniac.
I think it was internal, wasn't it? Was it Insomniac?
No, it was Insomniac.
Sunset Overdrive, I'm pretty sure it's Insomniac.
Because a lot of those features or that feel that game came over to Spider-Man.
Yep, you're totally right. That was Insomniac.
Yeah, that up until maybe Breath of the Wild was my favorite game of this generation.
Wow. And now it's Super Mario Party.
Hey, Super Mario Party is real good.
I've been watching a lot of streams of that video game, and that looks like a real good Mario Party.
It actually is. Yeah.
I might get that.
I hate knocking it. I knock it just for the hell of it, but it's actually they've actually made a good Super Mario Party game.
By the way, to go back to Red Dead for 30 seconds.
I thought you were going to say for the 32nd time.
No, in Franklin's house in GTA 5, you can find a book written by Jay Marston. So it's probably Jack Marston, his son, entitled Red Dead, which could obviously be the story of his dad and the gang and stuff like that. So
nice.
There's that reference, whether that means they're in the same universe or not. But
yeah, it could be shared world, could be an Easter egg, could be both.
Because technically they make the point that they mention that in Red Dead that New York is called Manhattan, but it's called something else in GTA 4.
It's Liberty City.
City, yeah. But then there's the argument of the America was still kind of being founded and states were being introduced. So they could have changed names because New Austin could become Texas at some point. So
they gave themselves enough leeway. So, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I have a question now that you mentioned back to Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't keep track of it of these things, but is there usually a timeline from when a game is rated to when a game is either officially announced or released at some point? Is there
generally speaking, a game is rated when it's ready to be released.
So
because if they were to make any kind of major changes to any of the content in the game, they would need to have it re-reviewed.
Yeah, it's got to be like content complete, but not like, you know, you might be still in polish phase or something like that.
So
master done or whatever.
Yeah. So best. I mean, the smart guess would be that that comes out on PC for Christmas, but if it doesn't, then it's going to be in March because that's when that kind of thing comes out.
Yeah, that makes both of those make sense.
My money's on either a Game Awards reveal or whatever that kind of funny is doing, like a thing directly.
The kind of
that.
funny IGN taco bowl whatever thing.
Yeah, whatever line of bullshit they're feeding you at this point. that thing is gonna set, and I mean everybody's gonna watch it. But
because there is no PlayStation PSX this year. So.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you know, whatever. Good on Greg Miller. He loves.
It's
his,
almost
he loves his PlayStation.
as if Sony only did fan things when they wanted to make money off of those things.
No, Sony loves the consumer.
Wow, power to the players.
Power to the players.
That's GameStop.
Speaking of GameStop, Elder Scrolls 6 might not be out until the next generation of consoles, which means GameStop won't be selling it anytime soon.
Yeah, hey, it sounds like Fallout 76 should probably wait till the next generation of consoles.
Yeah, that was on here too.
Shots fired. Oh man.
On the one hand, so the big Fallout 76 news with the beta was that Fallout 76 tied the move speed to the refresh rate, which is a mistake that Dark Souls, I think, made on the PC version.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was kind of big news when it happened. So why the fuck would you do this?
Yeah, you want to talk about the bigger news about that beta is how about I downloaded it for my PC and then I launched the launcher again and it deleted the entire download.
Oh god, that's fantastic.
Yep.
And so they sent out like a thing that was like, hey, like so don't turn on the launcher at all until we patch it because you'll lose the 58 gigs you already installed.
58 gigs?
Oh. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, the beta was like 50. I think it was essentially the entire map, right? Like this was 100% a real beta to make sure that game did not like shit the bed when it went live, and doesn't sound like it made it.
Which, so on the one hand, all these different issues, I'm like, what the fuck, Bethesda? On the other hand, I think it was Kyle Orland from Ars Technica, I think is where he's writing these days. Hi, Kyle. Had made a tweet saying like, yo, this is what a beta's for. And like, fair point. Fair point. So, you know.
We're having a conversation now than on launch day.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't like giving Bethesda the benefit of the doubt ever, but when has any of their games ever launched with like a very solid either frame rate or like, you know, things just not immediately going awry? I know those games are. I don't myself play the Fallouts or the Fallouts. I sound like an old man. I don't play the Fallouts or the Elder Scrolls. But you know, I know those are huge games for people, and I hope it ends up working out for them. But it doesn't sound like they had a very good first test here.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's worth doing it now. Then if this problem comes up again on launch, then maybe that's something that's worth talking about. But I feel like if they got this out of the way now and it's, I would say I don't know if it's going to be 100% fixed on launch, but if it's 98% there, I'd be like, okay, that's on par with what of the other previous Fallout games.
Yeah.
Bethesda titles.
Yeah, as long as it gets to the state that it's like, you know, as operable as any of their other projects, like, you know, I don't think the community is going to have like too much of an issue with it. It's just, it's interesting now we're at the point where anytime somebody's like, oh, there's a public beta or this is like a test or whatever, it's more of just like, hey, you pre-order this. This was a pre-order bonus. Enjoy the like 48 hours you get to play it. But it definitely sounds like they use this to like abuse their system and see if it would work.
Yep.
Speaking of abusing things,
man,
boy,
good lord,
old school RuneScape, which is only on this list because I talked about it a few weeks ago. They just released a mobile client.
Oh, yeah.
And it topped 110,000 concurrent players.
Wow!
And it brought their daily concurrent player peak up up to 30K or up by 30K. So like that's a thing. I didn't realize there were so many masochists in the video game community, but apparently there are, and they're playing RuneScape on their phones.
Taking notes, Blizzard. Considering that BlizzCon is this weekend, or is it next weekend?
I want to say I think it's this weekend.
I think it's this weekend. Okay.
Did any of you guys play like old school RuneScape like way back in the day?
Not back in the day.
See, the thing that I found out about RuneScape is you were there when you were a kid. You fell in one of two camps. Either you liked RuneScape and you hated Flash games, or all you played was Flash games.
I'm in the second camp because before Jagex made RuneScape, they had command of a website called gamesdomain.com. And what that was you would go to this website and you would launch like a Flash application, and it would make like this big spinning castle, and it turned into it was like a 3D Second Life type like chat system where you could walk around inside the castle, and there was a chat box, and you could launch games from it, and every month they would rotate through games, and they had some of the most fun fucking multiplayer games I've ever played in my life, and I've been chasing that high since I was a kid. And then they came out with RuneScape and closed it, and I fucking hate RuneScape for it. They had a game called Treasure Crypt.
Downloading RuneScape right now.
Yeah.
They had a game called Treasure Crypt where it was a 30-turn game with 4 players, 4 real people. You would move a certain number of spaces, recruit enemies in a dungeon, collect treasure, and try to get the high score. And it was fucking phenomenal. And I cannot find it anywhere. No, people have tried to if you Google this game, there are people that are trying to recreate it from scratch, but they can't get it right. It's like, oh, fuck you, Jagex.
Fuck you, Jagex. Any other news, Aaron?
Yeah, speaking of games that I can't play anymore, the video game historians and archivists got a big DMCA win this week.
Oh boy!
Yeah, the Supreme Court ruled that people who are I guess I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really understand the jargon, but it reads to me like any like preservation societies that are wholesale copying games, like the code and like servers and stuff like that for the purposes of archival and
Hmm.
history, they just got to pass. They're allowed to do it now. It's not a DMCA violation anymore. So if they're doing it,
that makes sense.
if they're doing it for preservation purposes, they get to save games as they were at the time that they were live, which is very cool because, like, if you want to play a game or if you want to look at a game that was basically online focused, like I don't know, City of Heroes, something like that. You can't play that shit online anymore. So now going forward, if in 20 years Final Fantasy 14 doesn't exist anymore and I get a craving, I can go to a museum or some shit like that and be like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is what it was like to walk around online.
Yeah.
But no, I added that in here because that's very cool. And video game preservation has been kind of a thing for a long time where it's been this morally gray area because of how close it has been to, ROM dumping and piracy and stuff like that. And so now it's nice that there's just a clear delineation between it and something like, ROM dumping.
Yeah. Quick shout out to the team over at Area 5. Area 5 is the guys that used to do the camera work and all the hosting for One Up Show. RIP. One Up Show.
Matt Chandronay and crew.
Yeah. So they I remember their first episode of their series, they actually did a whole thing on video game preservation and just like looking at all the different ways that people, museums, or even just like private collectors have been kind of preserving games. So it's kind of great to see that it's still kind of growing, and hopefully we all get to enjoy it in one central place. So
yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
if you want to read about video game archival, maybe this is the worst one. This is the worst one I've done all night. Friend of the site, Steven Strom, has officially announced his new project.
Yep, check it out.
As part of the ZAM Network, he's now the managing editor of Fanbyte, which is a new video game website talking about video game things and video game things.
Games, and games.
I threw this on here just because he's been teasing it on Twitter for a little over a month now, and now it's finally live, and I happened to see it when I was making this news roundup, and now it's here. giving him shout outs because he's a friend. What
He's
up,
a good
Steven?
guy, and it's good stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything I got. That's all my news. What else you got?
You didn't cover the full roster of 20 games on the PlayStation Classic.
Oh,
Nah, I don't give a shit about
Nah.
that. You know why? You know why I didn't add that? You know why I didn't add that? Because they have Battle Area Toshinden on there, and that is all the reason anybody needs to buy that.
I don't know, man. Like I was counting about the number of games I would play on there, and it was 9. And I was like, if I can play at least like 12 to 15 of the games there, I'd buy it. But it's like, I don't know. But it's making me think that someone should grab that Siphon Filter license and remaster that bad boy.
Yeah.
The series in general just needs a remaster. That was
The only thing that excites me about that PlayStation Classic is like the idea that maybe somebody will like hack it that they've done with the SNES one. And
oh yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
because honestly, of the PlayStation games that I grew up with, like I think Metal Gear is literally the only one that's on that list.
Yep, same here. I played that. I first played that game, or my first ever experience with the PlayStation was I was actually still living in the Philippines at the time, and my mom brought back an American PlayStation. I know because I had to buy an adapter at the local store so the voltage wouldn't fry the entire house. But one of the first games I got wasn't even a game. It was like the Pizza Hut demo disc that had, I think, Metal Gear Solid, Medieval. I think it was Cool Borders 2, and like a Tomb Raider game and some other crap on there. But man, those are the days. Those were fun.
I'm looking at the full roster right now, and I'm like, oh, cool! I can't wait to play the old version of Final Fantasy VII that has been now available everywhere.
Right when you consider
Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, the original Grand Theft Auto game, and best of all, Intelligent Cube. I mean, really, Intelligent Cube is phenomenal. How about the original Persona game that's not good?
That no one liked.
We can maybe play that.
It's like, hey, you know why nobody talks about Persona or Persona 2? It's because they sucked. How about we give this one to
correct. That is.
You know what? I will take that back. I did play Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, but on N64, and that is a good game.
Yeah.
I need Rainbow Six to go back to the tactical thing of what it used to be. Like I remember playing on the Xbox where you could shout command into a mic, and it would be so cool.
There was about, I'm going to say 4 years after we played Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six as kids that my brother and I, anytime like anybody got hit with anything or anybody fell, we would just go, Tango down.
See? That's great. Like, I love that. Also, another brief reminder to Sony, you all need to remake or remaster or re-release or make a new game entirely for SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs.
Oh God, yeah, SOCOM was a great series. Like
so good,
so good,
so good.
Those
tactical games. I don't need multiplayer to get it. Just give me a list of tactical things to do, which Ubisoft somewhat hit with Ghost Recon Wildlands with the whole command, but not in depth.
What is Jumping Flash? I've never seen this game before in my life. Jumping Flash was the name of a firework I sold at the fireworks stand.
Jumping Flash was I do believe, one of those games that never officially came out in the West. It was like an import game that commanded like huge amounts of money to buy, and it's got a cult following because of that. But
okay.
Yeah,
that's like the one I've never heard of on this list.
Yeah, it's like a first-person platforming game, I think.
Also, Future Cop LAPD. I'm still kind of salty about that. I don't know if you guys ever played that. It's kind of an RTS mech.
I have never heard of that game.
Developed, and I kid you not, developed by EA Redwood Shores.
Wow.
EA Redwood Shores.
Rip.
R.I.P. in peace, Redwood.
I miss Space so much. It's the only horror game I'll play.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we need to cut it for tonight. We've been talking for almost 2 hours. Good Lord. Great conversation, my good friends. Rexley, thank you for joining us today, and always welcome back. Yes. Aaron, thank you for being Aaron today and being thank us. You can thank us for helping you sober up along the way.
I was stupidly drunk up until about 20 minutes before this podcast started.
Yeah,
I forgot we were doing this tonight.
It was brilliant. It was quiz trivia night at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he made it back over this way.
I forgot to play HQ tonight.
Oh,
wait. Well, hold on. Whoa. You were at a Buffalo Wild Wings?
No, I was at I was at the oldest pub in Nova Scotia having chicken wings.
Okay.
Which is a Buffalo Wild Wings, by the way. It's
that's where it came from. No, but we've had the conversation on here that you've never had a taco before.
That's
and I
still
know
true.
I know they offer tacos at Buffalo Wild Wings. So I was gonna tell you to get your ass back there and order a taco.
No, I was at the oldest pub in Nova Scotia. I was not at an actual Buffalo Wild Wings.
Friend, you need a good taco.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully, we'll get him out to like PAX or E3 or something and get
oh man,
some real
get him up to
food.
Boston where they're famous for their tacos.
Yeah.
Listen, ship me up to Boston, but first I gotta get a passport.
Wouldn't it be down to Boston or just across from Boston?
I think it's in the drop.
I think if you're going anywhere where the people there are way cooler than you are, you're going up to them.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But they're wicked smart.
The wicked smart.
We send them a Christmas tree every year.
Oh, do you guys? That's good.
Yeah,
they're the one Christmas tree in Boston.
It's
Canadian.
They helped us out when we accidentally blew up our capital back in like 1918, and every year since then we sent them a big ass Christmas tree.
That can't be real.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Oh man.
They've helped us ever since the Great Capitol Fire of 1902.
Technically, it was the Great Halifax Explosion of 1918, but
Jesus Christ.
1917. My mistake.
Oh my God! This is now I'm going down the Wikipedia rabbit hole tonight, everybody.
You guys want to see some shit? Hey, listen, you can end this show. I'm going to find you guys a video.
All right. On that note,
Oh Lord,
you can find us at SideQuesting, sidequesting.com, SideQuesting TV, and all of your video streaming services. You can find me personally at Dolly Domofsky. Sam, where can we find you when you're not doing video work for Bucknell?
you can find me in Boston eating tacos. You can find me at SamDI79 on Twitter. I tweet nothing. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're into. Maybe you want your Twitter feed to just be nothing every day. I can offer you that.
Just follow Sam and nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it. You won't get any of that garbage of social activity on your timelines.
I'm going to let you know that October had exactly one tweet. If you don't count, today it's the November, so no, it had exactly one tweet. September had two. August 29th was a busy day. I was a busy boy. August had under 10. So
nice. Your numbers are dipping every month, man.
Yeah, well, August was my birthday month, so what are you gonna do?
You got to celebrate with extra tweets.
Mm-hmm.
One tweet for your age. Per age. Aaron, where can we find you?
You can find me on SideQuesting, where I write things. Multiple things this week, I guess, depending on if I fucking pull that thing off and put it up. You can find me on Twitch. I streamed a few hours of Thronebreaker, where I basically stream as I'm reviewing a game, and so it's not very entertaining. But if people have questions about the review process, then I tend to pause the game and answer them and chat with the chat. You can also find me on YouTube, where I link people to Canadian Heritage Moments, which were a series of ads that ran on television, teaching people about important Halifax, or teaching people about important Canadian moments like the Halifax explosion and the Canadian hero Vince Coleman, who saved a train from driving into Halifax right before the shipping ship exploded, delivering the biggest explosion, the biggest man-made explosion in the Earth's history up until the creation of the atomic bomb.
Vince Coleman, also a very popular American baseball player.
Really? I have no idea.
On that note, we'll see you guys in the next side quest. Adios.
There were 700 people on that train.
Oh my God. Eat those Boston tacos.